Okay, today we're going to take a look at S3, area of parallelograms and triangles. So this first question says, what is the area? And it's a triangle. So the formula for the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So area equals 1/2 base times height. Okay, so once again, it doesn't really matter which one you enter in for the base, which one you enter in for the height, because of the commutative property of multiplication. However, typically the base means the bottom and the height is up and down. So my next step, I'm going to make that substitution. Area equals 1/2 base, which is 10, times the height, which is 9. Now everything is being multiplied together. You could just do it in one step. 1/2 times 10 is 5. 5 times 9 is 45. Once again, these do have units. You could see here that we have mm, that stands for millimeters. And because we're doing millimeters times millimeters, you would get millimeters squared or square millimeters. But IXL already has the units for us listed there. We're just concerned with the number. So it's 45 square millimeters. Okay, the next one is a parallelogram. So the formula for the area of a parallelogram is area equals base times height. Once again, we typically think of the base as the bottom number. Now notice that the height is straight up and down. It's perpendicular to the base. Perpendicular, it forms a right angle. So that's the measurement we need that for. So when we substitute in, we have area equals the base, which is 6, times the height, which is 4. So area equals 6 times 4, which is 24. 24. Okay, a triangle we already did, so I'm going to jump a level. Okay, here's a different kind of triangle. Notice that this one, the 10 is actually not on the outside of the triangle. It still works the same way. Area equals 1/2 base times height. The base is this entire length, which is 19. And the height is 10. I'm going to go ahead and enter this all in a calculator. We got 1/2 times 19 times 10. We get 95. So 95 square millimeters. Okay, there's another parallelogram. Again, that one's area equals base times height. It's 18 times 13. I'm going to jump a level since we did one like that. Okay, this one here, very similar. It's just that it has some decimals. Again, it's not a triangle, it's a parallelogram. So area of a parallelogram is base times height. Area equals 4 times 3.3. We're going to go ahead and multiply. 4 times 3.3 is 13.2. Just make sure that you don't round these off in IXL. Don't just put 13, you actually need to put 13.2. 13. 17.2. Okay, you could also do decimals for a triangle as well. So I'll go ahead and show you an example of that. Again, a triangle, meaning that it only has 3 sides, is 1/2 base times height, 1/2 times the base, which is the bottom number, and the height is the distance up and down, which is 7. Again, we have a decimal here, but it's all just numbers being multiplied, so you could go ahead and use your calculator. And then make sure that you don't round. I get 17.15. 17.15. 17.15. Okay, now we lost our picture here. Anytime that you don't have a picture, I highly recommend that you draw one. It says a triangle has a base of 4.3 miles and a height of 8 miles. What is the area? So the easiest way to draw a triangle is to just draw it as a right triangle. A base meaning the bottom, so that's 4.3, and a height of 8. My triangle is not drawn to scale, but it doesn't matter. It's just a guide to kind of help you along. The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Area equals 1/2 base is 4.3 times the height, which is 8. So 1/2 times 4.3 times 8 is 17.2. 17.2. Okay, this one's another triangle one, so I'm going to jump a level. Okay, gets a little bit harder here because you're not solving for the area. You're solving for one of the missing lengths. So notice that in this triangle, again, when you have 1/2 base times height, the height has to be perpendicular to the base. You're looking for where that right angle is. So we're going to go ahead and write the formula. Area equals 1/2 base times height. They told us what the area is. So we're not solving for A anymore. We know that A is 48. We also have the base B. It's right there. That's the bottom. That's 8. So the base is 8. What we don't know in this problem is the height, and that's h. So we're going to leave it as the variable h. Okay, let's simplify on the right-hand side. We have 1/2 times 8, which is 4, giving us 4h. And now we have a one-step equation. 48 equals 4h. If we want to get h by itself, we divide both sides by 4. 48 divided by 4 is 12. So we find out that the height is 12 inches. Okay, let's go ahead and look at an example where you're finding the missing length of a parallelogram. So for a parallelogram, we have area equals base times height. And once again, they told us the area is 8. So underneath A, you're going to substitute in 8. Now the base, meaning the bottom, well, they represented that with the variable t, so I'm going to go ahead and make that substitution. And for the height h, we have 4. So 8 equals t times 4. Anytime you have a number multiplied to a variable, like t times 4. It's typically written as 4t. And now solving for t, we divide both sides by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And we get 2 equals t. So 2. Okay, we have problems similar to this where they tell you the area, but now they don't give you a picture. Once again, it's going to benefit you to draw a picture. A triangle has an area of 36 square miles and a height of 12 miles. What is the length of the base? Draw a picture of a triangle. The height is 12, and it says, what is the length of the base? Well, that's what we don't know. I could call it x. But I do know that the entire area is 36. So using my formula for a triangle, area equals 1/2 base times height. Let's substitute in. So I got 36 for my area times 1/2 from the formula. The base, I don't know what the base is. I called it x, and the height is 12. 36 equals 1/2 times 12 is 6, and then times x is x. So 1/2 times 12 times x is all 6x. This is a one-step equation. If we want to get x by itself, we got to divide both sides by 6. 36 divided by 6 is 6. So we get that 6 equals x. 6. Okay, there's another triangle one. That's one like we just did. Okay, which figure has a greater area? Well, to find out which one has a greater area, find the area of each of them, and then compare the two. So for the first one, area equals 1/2 base times height. Make the substitution. The base is 10, and the height is 6. 1/2 times 10 times 6, everything's being multiplied together, so you could use a calculator for that. You get 30. For the second one, we write the formula. We substitute. The base is 8, and the height is 9. Okay, again, if you need to, you could go ahead and use a calculator. It's 1/2 times 8 times 9, and I get 36. So now that we found the area of each of them, it says which figure has a greater area. So we're looking for the bigger number. 36 is bigger than 30. Okay, we did one just like this. Which figure has a greater area? Once again, find the area of each one. Now for this particular one, I don't even need to even show my work. If the height is 12 here, the height is 12 here, this one has a base of 15, this one has a base of 18, well that one's bigger. Okay, again, this one's very, very similar. So this is S3, area of parallelograms and triangles. Again, I want you to go ahead and try these problems, and I want you to get a SMART score, which is listed right here, of 90 or better. After you receive that score of 90 or better, you can stop. Okay, I'll see you on Thursday. Bye.